Hey guys, hey, it's Whiskey, and we are back with I don't know what episode of season two of the Everybody Can't Go podcast. I'm here with my co-host. What up, CK?
What up, though? What up, everybody?
Yeah, we're doing this by the skin of our teeth. Well, I don't know about you, but I am. Like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
been rough
yeah.
to
Skin is that my teeth.
yeah. You said what?
I said, yeah, skin of the teeth for sure.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I was like, I know I don't have it together, but
But we here.
yes, I
But we here.
appreciate you for rocking out in the, in my mind it's disorderly, but things just flow the way they're supposed to flow or not.
That's
And
life.
it's life.
Yeah.
It really is. I think this year on top of perimenopause, right? I've just been learning that though I'm just not as spry and as I used to be.
Yeah.
So it's like I remember having a time in my artsy stuff where it was like, oh my gosh, I'm good at like handling all these projects and having all these fires in you know, and then I realized the top of this year, I was like, oh, I feel so good. It's time for me to get like heavy back into these projects and get all these fires going. And like half the fires done smoldered out.
I was about to say burning out. Burning out.
Yeah, one just caught on fire and turned to
Where's
ember.
the
Like,
extinguisher? Where's the extinguisher?
so this is where we are. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm not no spring chicken no more. And my mind is not shooting on all those cylinders anymore. Like, the brain fog is real. And then having adequate time for rest is real. So I was like, oh, okay, all of the things that I wanted to do, I need to recalibrate into. And I love that this is our scriptures from Ecclesiastes today, but the Ecclesiastes, there's a time and a season for everything. So
Yeah.
recalibrating things into like, okay, what are the seasons? So yeah, I realized in hindsight that that is work that needs to be done. So the podcast has suffered for that. We missed a couple of episodes, but it's all good. We
No,
here.
we here. That's it. We here. We ain't miss a thing. We've been
You're
here
right.
for everything we were meant to be here for.
I like that thinking. That
Yeah.
thinking gives grace.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because at the time where we weren't here in front of the audience, we were still doing all the stuff you just said, which is still a part of being here. If we hadn't done that, we may not even be here for this episode. You know what I'm saying?
Period.
So yeah, that's just a part of it. Sometimes recalibrating means sometimes taking
Yeah.
a pause,
Yeah.
assessing, adjusting, and
Yeah.
addressing whatever we got to do. That's a part of it. So
Well, yeah,
there are
you're
no
right.
misses. There are no misses here.
And the tagline is for your be about it journey. And I think that's the hardest part is that has been work too, is making sure the things that you talk about are the things that you're actually being about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was kind of a journey I took with my poetry, talking about self-love and mental health and taking care of yourself. And then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I have to like do it.
Do that.
And
Yeah.
in doing that, the optics of it doesn't look good. I think that's the part I struggle with is like I want to be consistent and I want to have things look perfect or a certain way, like externally, but it's like, but you ain't. So
Yeah.
anything you're involved in is going to be
Yeah,
imperfect because it's
it's
a
gonna,
reflection of
have
you.
a little bit of that up in it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna have a little bit of that. It's gonna have you all in it. You know what I mean? So, and here we are.
And here we are. But we
Here
made
we
it. We
are.
did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe, and we're
As
gonna do
I'm
it again.
like tracking the Uber Eats order for my daughter, like we got a lot going on.
We did it, and we're gonna do it again.
And we gonna do it again. That's busy, busy life. What's going on with you? You had your big events,
I
the
did, I
kickoff
did,
of
I did.
several events.
Kick
So
off
catch us up.
several events. So, the sneaker ball and silent auction was a great experience, at least to me. I hope to everybody that came out.
Yeah.
Hope everybody had a great time.
Oh, I should have got my auction item. My auction
Yeah,
item is actually also decorative. So it's like sitting on my dresser until I can wear it out for fancy events. So I
yeah,
love it.
yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing it out there. But we raised 1625 of our $8,000 goal. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so prayerfully, between Poets Giving and the 5K, we're able to kind of grab the rest of those funds that we're looking to raise just so
The
that we
5K is a
can.
walk. Okay.
5K is a walk or run, whichever you
Okay.
so choose to do.
You about that life.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So 5K ain't that far, ain't that long. But yeah, so looking forward to getting into um the next phase of it, but definitely uh I definitely held space for that moment and kind of took it all and still taking it in. Was happy to be featured on Fox 5. That was great. So trying to connect,
Yeah.
got to get some stuff back to them just so that we can connect again for Poets Giving. So yeah, just happy to be uh finding the ways to operate inside of grief that keep me grounded.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be grounded
Excuse
in
me.
the grief, not on the ground because of the grief. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
that's
yeah.
real. And what's that quote going around that grief is the all the love that you couldn't like get
Yeah,
out and
yeah,
expel to the
pretty much.
person. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a good redirection for that love. It's pouring the
Yeah,
love into the community, sharing your grief journey with other people and
yeah,
inviting other people to share theirs.
yeah,
So that's important. That's
yeah.
big because I think I want your thoughts on this. Kind of a side note, but with the passing of Dolly Parton
Mm-hmm.
and the passing of uh, a couple of celebrities this week, I
Tim
think
Curry,
there's interesting having your own personal grief journey and then watching the world mourn people that they don't
don't
technically
even know.
know, but they were touched by their art and I was like, I know how I sound. My daughter looked at me like, girl, like you ain't got no empathy. But I was like, there's something weird about this collective mourning that we do for people that we don't know. I think where I land with it is that it should be a celebration instead of it ruining our day, right? Especially if
Yeah.
someone's like in their 80s, 90s, it should be like, oh my gosh, this is how their art
Full
touched
life.
me. I really love
Yeah,
this. But it turns into as if we're like grieving a family member. And I was like, all of this extra grief can't be good.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
So I
I,
was like, oh,
and
so you cynical like me.
so so when you add when someone is in their 80s and 90s,
Mhm.
then we are, to me, I think how we show reverence for the life that they had is exactly what you just said. You know what I mean? We celebrate the ways that they've impacted our lives and reminisce on all of the art and creations that were brought forth because of them and enjoy
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because really, that's all we know anyway. So the
Right.
music hasn't died, the movies haven't died. We'll be able
Right.
to experience their family different. But us, we will be able to enjoy them all the ways we have always enjoyed them, even in their passing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it should be celebratory for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we
I
have not
agree.
lost the art. And I'm glad you brought that up because that is why art is so important because these
Hmm.
people are gone. You know what I mean? Gone in the flesh. And yet their work is left here with us. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To still experience, to still learn from, to still, you know what I mean, share. That's what makes being artists and being creatives so important because
Yeah.
some people die and leave nothing.
Yeah.
You have the memories, but that's all in your mind. There's nothing tangible to go back to. And like I literally been every time I visit my grandma now, I am making videos of her.
Yeah.
Because I just hate that I know that I know. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm watching her every visit, in theory, tell me how full of a life she's lived and
Yeah.
how many people she's outlived and all her aches and pains and groans that she does not complain about at all. She is big on, I am blessed. You know what I mean? It's me and God taking care of me. I'm not gonna complain because
Yeah.
I'm doing all right. You know what I'm saying? She's big on that. But at the same time, I am watching her become a person that I know and don't know at the same time. You know what I mean? So I'm capturing those videos so that I will have something tangible
Yeah.
when the time comes. But as it relates to what we're talking about now with the artists have already done the work. They've already
Hmm.
captured it.
Yeah.
Better than photos in a photo album, you know what I'm saying? Better than letters in the
Yeah.
mail. Like we literally have things we could just go back and watch and replay and over and over. And if of course technology doesn't get snatched away from us as we know it eventually will. But the point is that that's why we should be writing, creating, making, sharing, connecting, doing all these things, leaving our footprints in the sand, burying our time capsules in the dirt. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We have to exist later as artists and
Yeah.
so that we could be celebrated when we're gone too.
Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly. I just think that it's a little dystopian the way that we're connecting on the darker parts of it.
Yeah.
And it's coming out as a lamentation as if these were our personal family members. And I'm like, you're adding grief when this doesn't have to be that kind of grieving.
Yeah.
There is the joyous grief that
I have
comes
enough
with
to grieve.
right. And that's
I
kind of
have
what I
enough
was
to
thinking.
grieve.
And I was like, I was interested to get your perspective because you've had deaths close to you in a short amount of time. And it's kind of like when you take on that kind of like debilitating grief, watching this unfold is like wild to me because I'm like, oh, we're looking at this all wrong, and we shouldn't be bonding with each other in this negative way. But I think it's just a sign of where we are, where morale is
Yeah.
collectively,
Yeah.
especially in the United States. We're all just, especially with the people are mad because they want someone else to die in their
Which is
place. And
crazy.
that's so that is an interesting feeling because me and my sister talk about how we had that thought when my father passed away. Um, at 66. So whenever there's like these men in their 70s like running the government, it's like all of these, none of them could have went in the place. It's like the part of grief where you start bargaining and you're
Yeah.
like, why couldn't it have been
Yeah.
someone, one of these dudes? So
So many other
watching it,
people I know.
right. Right. So it's kind of like the watching the collective go through these grief cycles each time a celebrity dies. I'm like, we are really taxing ourselves when we don't have to be.
Yeah.
So I wish there was
Play
some
your
way that
favorite
we could
song, watch your favorite movie, and live.
and keep it moving. Yeah, because
And live.
I on Netflix I noticed Hayden Panettiere passed away at 36. She was very young, but all sorts of like impactful things came out. Like there's Washingtonian Problems posted that she was advocating for DC statehood. That's
Yeah.
so random. And then she talked about her postpartum
Yeah.
and she was in an abusive relationship and there's still like questions whether there's foul play surrounding her
Yeah.
death. So there's so much there as far as like what her life was and what she was contributing outside of her acting. And then like on Netflix they started highlighting the shows that they had with her in it. I know
Right.
her from Guiding Light. I used to
Yeah.
watch the stories, okay?
Yep. Yep.
And she was a little baby on the stories. So so it's just interesting because my first thought was like, here we go, they're exploiting. And it's like, no, that's what happens. Like when an artist passed away, it's like a resurgence of everything they had to contribute and their legacy comes back up. And I think that's harder to do when it's people who are close to you and you take it in more like it's a more visceral feeling. But for some reason, we're subjecting ourselves to that kind of, I don't want to call it harm, but it is a form of like we're being very intense about it. And I wish we would just find a better way to collectively deal with these things. But that's
And I
just
don't know,
me.
like when I don't know, like if I feel like when it happens to us personally, I think we do it the same way.
Yeah.
Um, because we have no choice. At that point, you have to write an obituary and you have to do all these things. So all the pictures come out and all of the, what the person did, their resume and all like I mean, I learned so many things about my father that I didn't know before from his obituary.
Yeah.
Just all of his different things that he and I never talked about,
Yeah.
but that he did, you know what I mean? But no one's around talking. Like his family is primarily in Texas and Colorado. So it's not like I had people talking to me about my dad. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then my mom knows him in the capacity that she knows him, but she didn't know him when he was a kid. She didn't know him when he
Yeah.
was a teenager. So there was no one to actually tell me those stories. You know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot in those moments, but that is where the catalog comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I'm just hoping that it always reminds me uh to build my catalog
Yeah.
for when the catalog comes out.
Yeah. And it's hard to think of it that way, right? But that is what we're supposed to be thinking futuristically in of, yeah, legacy, what we leave behind, how the healing goes on. And that's real,
Well, but
especially
I
with
mean
the
that goes back to the scripture because in conclusion, the
in
conclusion
conclusion.
is what is in the catalog. What do you
Yeah,
believe? What did you do? Where did you stand? How'd you live?
that's
What
exactly
what
it.
what will they say?
What will they say?
Because at that what you will say won't matter. What will matter is what they
Yeah.
will say. We
And
work
and
we
that
work all this time to like ignore what people who don't know I care what they say. But when you're gone, they will do all the talking.
yeah, that's very true. I see that with the Dolly Parton thing because I had read something a while ago, right, that said in her memoir, when addressing racism, she basically said she noticed that her uncle was, or a family member, or someone was very outspoken about being racist or said racist things. And she picked up on the temperature that people don't like that. So she learned to be silent, which
Okay.
kind of gives the impression like, you was racist, right? So when she first passed away, I was on my Black Power, like, racist, and I was about to post about it and say like on threads like, some people on the list of, people black people don't play about be racist, so what are we doing? But
Mm.
something told me not to post it. So, I'm scrolling all day and people are talking about her. And one person actually broke down all the things that she did for Whitney Houston's legacy, the stuff she did for reading with children. And I was like, that gave me that grace and mercy thing where it's like, well, she's Appalachian. Like, there's a part of her that has the implicit bias of probably not like fully being like a civil rights activist, right? But she did not hate black people. She was not racist. She was
But
probably ignorant to
being humane.
something.
So that's the thing, like being humane, if
Right.
people are humane, then we could actually extract race
Yeah.
because at our core, we're all having a human experience. So if we anchor ourselves in being humane, we can remove the race conversation.
Right.
The problem is that when we start to do things that are not humane, then we have to question where a person stands on
Yes.
humanity. And now they have created classes that now
Yes.
cause us to say this is a race problem because
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense for person to person for someone to have disregard for life and all these things when you're being humane. So
Right.
yeah, based off where she was raised and how she was brought up and where she's from and all these things, of course she probably has varying opinions than
Yeah.
us, but is
Yeah.
at her core, is she humane? Okay,
That
I
is
can
a
live.
really good point. That
Then
is
I
a
can
really
live
good
with it.
point. And that hits the nail on the head of where I came to, where I was like, oh, it's about the humanity of it all. It's the fact that she cared about people. And it's the fact that, people say she made so much money. She could have been a billionaire, but she chose to give away her money to these causes. She chose to take care of people, and contribute to humanity and society. I didn't know that she contributed to getting the COVID vaccinations, like her own money. So all of this is very interesting, like, yeah, to learn and to reflect on when you think about, like, yeah, legacy and what you leave here, especially as an artist. And I loved a point somebody made online. I just love this personally, is that it didn't take away from her glamour. She was still that girl.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So
And I'm sure that wig came off, and so did that makeup. But did the people see that?
right, right. Right. And she was able she didn't hoard wealth. It wasn't an excuse to hoard wealth. It's like you can live a glamorous lifestyle or show up glamorous and be perceived as glamorous, but still be humanitarian. So
And
yeah.
still hit a thrift shop, still look good from a
Right.
thrift shop. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that was, the little, like, inspiration of the day. But yeah, all that to say, yeah, I do love the launch of events and what you're doing as far as processing your grief and allowing us to enter into it and grieve and celebrate with you, because I do think that that's a major, like, thing that humans are struggling with, is processing our emotions. And I
yeah,
think that's why artists are here, and that's why they're trying to replace us with other things, because it's like, instead of connecting to this real visceral painful thing, let's move you into the instant gratification of, look over here and be distracted by only positive emotions. And I see us going in this very, like, hedonistic direction of only chasing after pleasure. And it's like, well, that's not realistic. And what makes life so beautiful is grief. What
yeah,
makes life, like, what you gain from losing. You just have to be able to see it that way. And then also, death is inevitable. There
yeah,
is no running from it. Death and
yeah,
taxes,
yeah,
as they say. And I've
yeah.
been running from taxes, but
That's a conversation for another day.
but yes. So
But
the
it's
go
funny you
ahead.
say what you were saying though about the how we connect with celebrities. That was one of I don't know if you actually got an opportunity to walk the table where I put the it was called Impactful, where it had all of the
Yeah,
celebrity
I saw
photos.
that.
And I felt like that was important for the reason of what we are talking about right now, and just how people, it seems like if there's a public figure involved, people uh are more inclined to invest their time, their energy, whatever it is, because
Yeah.
it's this big thing. You know what I mean? Like you see it all the time. A person willing to go spend 500, 1,000, $2,000 on a ticket to see a celebrity for an hour, to
Yeah.
say they had that experience, but may or may not donate $5 to a cause that is directly affecting someone who
Yeah.
is right next to them. So because of that, I wanted to make sure that I included the public figures because I know how
Yes.
important that is to us as a community, right? But I
Yes.
also wanted it to be able to show, like when we get to Poets Giving, that table will actually have more information. It won't just be the pictures. It'll actually show what kind of cancer that they died from, their
Yeah.
life dates, all these things so that people could see the impact that it has had on our community and
Mhm.
help make sense of why it's important. If you are grieving this, you definitely want to be talking about it with these people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If you're grieving those people, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
want to be talking about it with your mama, your daughter, your cousins, because if this can hit our community in the distance, with such impact, imagine what it's doing to us right here in our backyard.
Exactly.
And I wanted people to feel that connection, but then turn and look at their people and say, well, man, you know what I'm saying? Like that's almost every celebrity that I actually like that's died of anything in the last 10
Yeah.
years. They all died of cancer of some sort. You know what I mean? What does that
Yeah.
mean then? You know what I mean? Where's the conversation around that? You know what I'm saying? It's either well, I'm not gonna say that 'cause,
That's really smart because, as much as I resent that, I get it.
yeah,
Right. And I think it is a good way to tie it all in, but also redirect a little bit. Like
yeah.
if you cared about these people and their art and you're touched by their deaths, imagine, yeah, how it's happening within your community with
Yeah,
people you know and can talk to and comfort and
yeah.
feel every day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that will be what segues us into the 5K, which I
Okay.
hope causes people to take act. The 5K is like the initiation of the action. That is you in the movement of taking
Yeah.
what you've experienced between the sneaker ball and Poets Giving, and now let's do something about it. Let's
Okay.
walk in the fullness of what we've experienced over the last few months.
Yeah.
You know,
So sneaker ball, August. Sneaker
yep.
ball, day before your birthday.
Day before my birthday.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday. What would you do for your birthday?
I went back up to Creative because we left there like
That
1 in the
works.
morning. Yes, we left there like 1 in the morning, but I had to go back up there to get some of the stuff that we had left in the office. And then after that, I was just laying around. I mean, I was doing some of the recap work I had to do to get people settled
Yeah.
out and stuff like that, but other than that, just kind of rested.
Yeah.
Then opened the auction back up on Monday on my dad's
Oh, did
birthday as
you?
a yeah, opened the auction back up just for that one day from 8 to 8, basically. On that one day, just to give anybody else who wanted to bid or get something, or participate, donate. So we did that, and then just kind of been resting and trying to get ready for Poets Giving is going to be interesting because it's gonna a lot of people who may or may not have ever written commission pieces or written pieces based off of other people. This is going to
Yeah.
stretch some of the artists in that way. It's
Yeah.
also giving the whole thing is eulogy, so YOU, giving the person, the subject, the opportunity to tell their own story. And then the artist translated. So I think it's going to be a really dope experience and a way to kind of take back what cancer tried to take away.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, that's intense. You doing stuff to get people in their fields and that. Ooh,
Yeah,
we not ready.
you know how Poets Give it is, right? Poets Give it is
Yes,
yeah.
traumatizing.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
hate it here, but I love it
Every
here.
time.
I don't know why I keep coming back, but I just can't not come back.
Every time. Well, you need that. I mean, the
Yeah.
masochist in me loves a pleasure pain, right? And once I caught on that oh, life kind of moves that way, and even I'm gonna butcher this, but even like that's why they say pain and pleasure are in the same like
Yeah, right.
yeah. I forget what it's called. Like the receptors are the same,
Yeah.
so they're not
Yeah.
separate.
No.
So chasing after too much pleasure could start to feel like pain because you've overdone it, and you need to kind of balance it both. So I'm like,
And the
God knew
same
what He
way.
was doing.
Yeah. And chasing after a lot of pain for some people starts to feel like pleasure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
My toes need a break. The
No,
way,
seriously. Seriously. Like
the way
me,
that settled in my spirit, I don't like it.
yeah, well, I mean, it happens a lot, especially with um like the idea of like victimhood and stuff like that. Like after a
Yeah,
while, people start to like what they feel, like what comes along with sitting in those
Yes.
deep, dark places. You know what I
It
mean?
becomes your
Um,
identity. Yeah.
yeah. And right now it's normalized and now it's just what you do. You know what I mean? So you're right. It's literally it's like a thin line. It's a very
Yeah.
thin line, and you have to be aware of yourself and find the balance because they both have to exist. You know what I mean? Good and
Yeah,
bad,
but it's just
light and
so
dark, all that.
interesting that my
That's it.
example was chasing after too much pleasure, which is always the thing I mentioned. But then you were like, yeah, chasing after too much pain. I was like, what?
What are you? So what are you saying? Hey man, I literally just
Got
had that conversation
personal
with
real
somebody the
quick.
other day. Yeah,
You said
that
what?
I said I just had that conversation with somebody the other day. It's
Yeah.
especially as it relates to like addiction and people. Addiction can be a lot of things. Addiction is drugs. Addiction can be relationships. Addiction can be, sex, intimacy, all these things. It can be all of those things. But as it relates to addiction, a lot of times people find themselves sitting in the more painful parts of it.
Yeah.
Um, and then that pushes them to get the release of something that feels more pleasurable. But they have to dig themselves deep down into the painful part in order to
Yeah.
make that pleasure make sense.
That's
You know what I
that's
mean?
that's the actual definition of trauma bonding, and that's,
Yeah.
the my history in romantic relationships has been like emotionally unavailable, not able to meet my needs, not really physically there. But when we're together, oh my God, it's just intense and it's
Yeah.
beautiful and
Yeah.
this feels good. But it doesn't feel that good without the pain part.
Right.
So the only reason it feels good, so once I started doing like work on this and realizing that it's not good to sit in all that pain and kind of like leveling that out, being like, oh, being with you doesn't feel pleasurable because I don't have
Because
the
you're really
pain
just
part.
regular. Because you're really just
Right.
regular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if this was
You're
going
just
well,
some
you would just
guy.
be, yeah.
When you're
If
not
this,
neglecting me or
yeah, if
treating me terribly, you're
you
just
just
some
regular.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You're not that your love is not that intense. You're not bringing
no,
anything great to the
no.
table but neglect.
And the only reason why you are bringing this right now is to right size all of what you did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're trying to
Yeah.
cover up all the wrong you did. That's the only reason why you've been willing to be right now. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
which means you're not willing to be right
Well, and the glitch in the matrix is that they eventually stop doing the right thing, and it's
anyway.
it's just
Yeah,
all
all
pain, and
bad.
it's like,
It's all
wow,
bad.
you just
All bad.
suck. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing like I said I wasn't gonna bring my ex into 2026, so I did not. But then I think he hit me up in like July, and I was like panicking because I was like, if he's in town, I'm in trouble. Like, but then I was like, well, are you like, what's going on? Why are you hit me up? And he's, the same old, I'm lonely, I need you kind of thing. And then I was like, well, and he's like, well, just call me. And I was like, you can call me. And then he goes, okay. And I haven't heard from him since. You wanted my energy. You wanted my desperate energy. But I'm like, if you reach out to me because you're lonely, you could at least call me. Why am I calling
Right.
you?
Yeah.
You wanted to reject me. You wanted the energy of I want you back and I need that. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was just kind of like,
And good for you having a boundary and recognizing that. You know what I mean? Yep. Which
I
may not have
I
been that easy. Which
I'm
may
a
not have been that
curmudgeon now.
easy.
I don't like my time wasted. I'm like, well, we're not going to.
I at least gotta get something out the deal.
When I
God.
tell you art
Yeah.
saves, art saves. Because if I'm immersed in an art project, I ain't got time for no broken
Yeah.
heart. I ain't got time for your
Yeah.
shenanigans. If I wasn't working on nothing and I was just bopping around, then I would have been in a chokehold. But I was like, stuff to do.
Yeah.
That
Amen for
doesn't
busy
involve
work.
you.
Amen for being
What?
busy. Amen for being booked, busy, and having a band.
Man is taking over my life.
But listen, even if all the band was necessary for was for the day that he reached out for you to have something else to do, then the
It
band
served its
then
purpose.
then the band served its purpose because everybody wants things to have this like grandiose type of like vibe. But sometimes you just are late because you missed an accident. Sometimes you're busy because you miss a phone call.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really those small things that make a huge difference, because if the band didn't exist and you might be disbanded,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
In all the
Back
little
into the
ways.
snare, back into the snare, back into the trap, you know what I mean? So,
And then even the thought
part
process
of the
of
work.
like, and it's so funny because we have a new band member, and I told him, I was like, we were talking about relationships or something, and I was like, I thought there was a lot of healing from relationships, and start a band. Like all the
Yeah.
healing work I knew I needed to do, and I was so worried I had to do it within romantic relationship. I
Mhm.
was like, oh no, it's happening here, because I was literally like, have people who show up for me and we get
Yeah.
together and we create and do a thing and they're reliable. And here comes this unreliable person who had access to my body who's trying to come in and be
Yep.
inconsistent and not show up. Like,
No,
no.
absolutely not. Because guess what? The people that's around you now are showing you what it looks like to have people show up.
That is something that I have not experienced in romantic relationship. That has been like an underlying theme. And it's interesting because now being losing my estrogen levels and it uncovering like raging ADHD symptoms and stuff, realizing that in relationship it's always been on me. And I think this is a lot of the Black woman experience. It's been you are they're basically outsourcing their executive functioning onto you. So it was
Mhm.
up to me to set the temperature for the relationship, to plan the dates, to do all the things. And it was just like, I don't even have executive functioning. So I wonder why I'm crazy whenever I'm like in romantic relationship, because I'm like I'm dealing with people who are putting all of this on me, and it's like if you want this relationship you're gonna have to work for it. And I'm like, no, my work and gifts can be utilized in other places in partnership with people who reciprocate and do their share. And that is a different, healthier ecosystem. And
Yep.
it's interesting, we're so off on a tangent, but it's interesting that
I think we're right
it's
on
kind
target.
of, yeah, I mean, we always is. But it's interesting how the formula has changed in all this deconstruction that I've done around like sex and relationships and the desire to be seen and chased and all of that stuff. It's changed into, oh, I don't think I am this submissive woman that wants this hyper masculine to come tame me. I want a partnership where I get to be a strong leader in certain areas and they get to be a strong leader in certain areas, and we partner. And I was like, oh, this is awkward because I don't know how to be a partner. I thought I was a pretty princess. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
so it's been like interesting to learn all of these things and recalibrate all of these things.
And how many women are in your band?
None right
And how
now.
many and how and how many members are in your band?
Right now there's three of us.
Three members.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, well, if there's three of us, then there's one woman in the band, which
Yeah,
means there's two guys in the band.
there's two guys.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing.
two
I
white
think
guys too
I
during the
think,
worst time in history
hey man,
with race relations. So yeah, my healing work is quite,
hey,
but
listen.
it's they're like the nicest guys. Like they've been so great, and it's just like it's so interesting because I have been processing a lot of resentment over race issues and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Um and even like the loss of friendships and going back and realize, oh my God, I have a lot of trauma here, especially
Yeah.
with the Nolan Wells case. I
Yeah.
used to be tubing in West Virginia with all white people, the only black woman. I mean, there are two white women that I were very close with, and they helped me get through my divorce. Like I was around them all the time. I was around their circles. I was the only black woman. I was not the same woman that I am now. And looking
Right.
back on those relationships and how I outgrew them, the microaggressions were out the wazoo. Like
Yeah.
one, I had to tell her to stop calling my hair worms. I had to explain to her why it was racist for the Obama, for them to ask for his long birth certificate. Trust me,
That's
I was
crazy.
out camping in the woods with all white people, and I'm sitting there, and there's all these white women, and they start running their fingers through their hair, and they're like, "Don't you wish that you could run your fingers through your hair?" And I was like, at the time, I was not paying attention. I was just like, "No, because I can run my fingers through my
Do
hair. What are
my
you
hair.
talking about?"
Yeah. Right.
Looking back on all
What
these
are they talking
interactions,
about?
and I was like, this was microaggressive.
The whole time. Me and Ebony talk about that all the time. Me and Ebony talk about that all the time, like how they are not being offensive directly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But they have opinions about us, how we are, what we are, and who we are,
yeah,
that they still use their language to put us in a lesser class than them.
yes.
Don't you wish you could implies that the fact that they can is better than what you have to do with yours. Even though, no, they didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? But like you did say
No.
that. Like weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
and that's the thing, realizing that I am more neurodivergent than I initially thought, and that I
Mhm.
wasn't picking up on these cues, and I didn't understand it because I was just like, I was brushing it off because I was like, well, that's just like dumb. And then looking back on it, I was like, oh no, y'all was being racist, y'all was trying it, and
Yeah.
realizing all the ways that they was trying it.
Right.
And I'm dealing with all this resentment, realizing that and resentment is actually one of the words the band member gave me because I was just like, oh, this poem is about, having allies like take a bigger stance, because the poem is all white people. It's like it's just calling out allies for not being good allies and calling out white people for not. And he's like, well, resentment. That was like, I didn't say anything at the time, but I was like, no, he's right. I'm feeling resentment for the way like white people are fumbling us right now. Like,
Yeah.
this would be your work. This is your revolution. White supremacy is rearing its ugly head, and it's time for that system to fall. And y'all don't want it to fall because you still think that you can like reap some goodness out of it or benefits for you out of it. And that's why no one's rebelled. That's why no one's taken to the streets. And it's like processing all of this and all of the friendships. I'm thinking of the friendships that I lost in general. And then I realized I lost a lot of my white friends because they weren't friends. They were there for something, but it wasn't necessarily me. They weren't seeing the totality of me, and there was still some othering of me that was happening. So managing these feelings, what's happening in the world, and talking about it on a mic with white guys behind me, just it's the
Crazy work.
wildest
It's crazy
experience.
work. It's crazy
It's
work.
crazy. But
Crazy work.
I'm looking back at like 70s music and stuff and realizing that those were the formulas of those bands. Like there were like white musicians in the background. So I was like, so this has all been like an interesting journey of learning how to be in community. And like the scriptures that kept coming up while I'm processing this was like, never, don't, what is it? Don't be weary of doing good.
Mhm.
I'm messing
Mhm.
up these scriptures. Never become weary of doing good, and then having grace and mercy. And I literally was journaling. I was like, God really wants me to be soft and open and nice to these white people.
And
But I realized
listen,
like they were like an integral part of like my life and this thing that I have to execute and move forward. And I was like, the irony that they're men and they're white men. And I'm like, this is where all the wounds are. And tell me about it. It's just a wow. God is funny.
but that is, I think that is the, like, I think that that's the beauty in the experience, because it is literally like things don't have to go as bad as they do. You
Yeah,
know, this is like user era, people making choices, people in their
yeah,
wills. So if we believe that, then we have to also believe that there are people who will to do good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There are a lot of people in this world who, like, for instance, the people you're talking about, who probably didn't mean you harm, but didn't mean you
Yeah.
good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is where the relationship is faulty. Um, from a humane standpoint, would they have let you die?
Yeah.
Probably not. You know what I'm saying?
I've been put in some, that was the other processing, is that I've been put in dangerous situations where I don't feel like they would have had my back. Like, have anything gone
I
down in those woods in West
yeah.
Virginia?
But you know, I will go on record saying that I don't think anybody belongs in the woods of West Virginia other than the people who were already in the woods of West Virginia. I think it's a very hills have eyes kind of experience. I think that because what I see on TV, don't judge me. I'm just saying. So I feel like any person who chooses to go to West Virginia kind of chooses to be in harm's way, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know if they just thought you came out there for a good time or what, because there's no way West Virginia is for the people, not these people, not these people. You know what I'm saying? At
Well,
all. But
mistakes were made.
yeah, but I say that to say this, that when I go back to the beauty part about the journey, is that I feel like a lot of times experiences like what you're going through with your band, this is God's opportunity to show you that you can experience something that's completely different than what you've experienced before. And
Yeah.
that's not like end all be all. Like what you
Yes.
lived through is not end all be all. That shit hurt. It changed you. You'll never be the same because of it. You know what I mean? All of that is very true. But at the same time, there are people just like those people who will elevate you, who will pull you ahead. And I think that is the making up the show up the shortage. That is the returning to you everything that you lost. That
Yeah.
is the part of it where it allows God to create a testimony out of the story that you get to grow
Yeah.
and glow from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it allows you to experience forgiveness, like all the things that because I was just having this conversation with Rena the other day, and we were talking about our baby father, and um, you
I
know,
love that you said "are."
you
Y'all
know,
in
I
this
mean,
together.
we gotta be, you know what I'm saying? We gotta be. But as much as I understand how when someone hurts you, harms you, or whatever that is, and we want justice. No
Yeah.
justice, no peace, right?
You
No
want
justice, no peace.
revenge.
Yes, which basically means no justice, no peace. But
Yeah.
but when people operate from that standpoint sometimes, especially when it's like an inward thing,
Yeah.
if you not getting justice means you will have no peace, you ultimately are almost choosing not to have peace. You know what I'm saying? Because there has to be a huge part of us that kind of accepts that justice will come from the place where justice is served. And we don't always know what justice is or what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
But based off of where we're standing in the experience, we do have to still be in alignment with what we know, forgiveness and grace and
Yeah.
mercy and all these things that
Scriptures that
nobody
came out. Yeah.
nobody wants to extend that kind of stuff to the villain.
Yeah.
Nobody. What?
No.
I'm not doing that. They already got too much. Like, why they get that
Yeah.
too? Why do I have to give them something else?
Yeah.
Don't they have enough?
You know what other scripture kept coming up for me? Love covers a multitude of sins.
All of them.
And I
It
was
covers
like,
all of them.
yeah, and I was like, that kept coming up, like recurring, and I was like, that is what this is. I am in a time in my life where I'm having corrective experiences
That's
that's
it.
like overshadowing the
That's it.
trauma I've had in
That's
other
it.
situations. And it's so interesting because everything has to be, you have to be close to God to see it. If I didn't
That's
have a
it.
relationship with God, I would be like, you know what?
Right.
During this time, I don't know if I want a white man. This is weird. This is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I just feel so safe and so good. And I feel like we have synergy. We connect, like we're having a good time. And I'm just like, oh, because I see that this is a corrective experience. And like,
Correct.
in spite of what's happening in the world and your mistrust with men, with white people, with, with all of these systems, it's like, you that's what the community, that's what the revolution is going to have to be. It's going to have to be like, how do we exist outside of these systems
Yeah.
and still come together? And I don't know that people realize how hard that work is going to be, because it's
Yeah.
going to be very
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Is that Pioneer?
That is Pioneer. She ain't know I was sitting in the opposite direction. Normally I'm facing that way, but I'm facing. So she hit the corner and was like, "Oh,
She's by the
no,
door, like, oops.
no, gorgeous." But yeah, so I think that's right. That's exactly it. You know what I mean? The corrective work that shows you that what you experienced, you shouldn't have. You didn't have
Yeah.
to. That is
Yeah.
not the way people are. That is
That
not
is
the
not
way
the way
life is.
people are.
That is the way those people are. That's the
Yeah.
way that person was. That's the way that person was then, because that person might not be like that now. You know what I mean? Because we're not always the same. We
Yeah.
grow, we change, we
Yeah.
we do not want to extend the grace that we want extended to us. And that is the part that keeps us in the loop, because we do want it. We do want we want love to cover all of our sins.
Right.
And
Right.
we want hate to condemn all of everybody else's. But we want
Yeah.
love to cover all of ours. You know what I mean? And so that's where I she we kind of had a little moment, because I'm very like grace forward. I'm very
Yeah.
grace forward. And she be like, yeah, but I ain't, nah. Like, I ain't trying to hear that shit today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you got it, but I don't got it, Chief. So I don't even
Yeah.
want to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's everybody in their own time. There are things that I
Yeah.
have been like that with in my life too. You know what I mean? So I have grace for her even as she is working through her stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
just know that the oftentimes the reason why we are in the loop is because we haven't accepted that forgiveness will resolve it all.
Yes.
The forgiveness will almost completely take that shit out of your consciousness that it even
Yeah.
happened in the first
Yeah.
place. But I wrote a piece about that. It was talking about the grief. It's a haiku, and it basically says something along the lines. I don't remember like right off the top. I wrote like 5 haikus today, so I got too many fresh in my brain. But it basically says something like, if the noise went away, you know what I'm saying? Like, if grief left you alone, could you stand the silence? Basically,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And sometimes I think that people get so connected to what they've been through. Going back to what we said about
Yeah.
chasing the pain, right? That's been the
Yeah.
story. That's been the story. That's been the
Yeah.
story. You identify as that. It's who you are now. It's what you've been through. That if you actually just say, you know what, I forgive you. You know what I mean? I've done some things in my life too that I'm not proud of. What you did hurt me, but
Yeah.
if no sin is greater than the other, because that's all that shit, that jargon that we be quoting until it's time for it to work for us and on us.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So if that's the case, no sin is any different. That means when I lied to my boss earlier about what time I was going to get to work or whatever it was, it's kind of equivalent to the
that's
fact that
not a
she broke
sin.
my heart. 'Cause it's not the same, but it's the same.
That's
You
not
know
a
what I'm
sin.
saying?
That's just
Hey, listen, the point is that if we believed all the things we said we believed, we would also believe them for the people who have done us wrong.
yeah.
And when we do that, then we relieve ourselves of having to harbor the pain that holds us down in the unforgiveness.
In the deeper part, that the work no one wants to do is like you see your part in it. I
That's
didn't
it.
have a strong identity in my blackness back then. That's
Yeah.
why I was attracting people who did not honor that.
Yeah.
Now, like you people who would be uncomfortable around how black I am don't come around because I'm gonna talk about it. We're talking about white supremacy. I gotta chill because I caught I keep saying nigga in the rehearsals. I'm working on it.
Hey
But
man.
like, and even with the relationships, my self-esteem wasn't there. So I there's the part of me that was aligning with this.
Everything is unless and when we talk about force, force is very different. You know what I'm saying? Force is very different. So unless it is that,
Yeah.
everything else we allow.
Yeah.
Aside
Yeah.
from what, aside from this, we allow.
Yeah.
Aside from this, we allow. So
Yeah.
anything a person lies to you once, they don't get to lie to you twice unless you allow it. You know what I mean? A person cheats on you once, they don't get to cheat on you again unless you allow it. You know,
Yeah.
a person steal from you once, they don't get to do it again unless you allow it. So when someone has like compulsive behavior towards you in a negative capacity, that is a mirror of how you manage yourself in accepting negative compulsive behavior
Yeah.
towards you. You know what I'm saying? Like when we accept that, you know what, bro, you shouldn't even have been able to lie to me.
Yeah.
That's the conversation that I have about the things that I've been through now. Like I never should have even accepted that. You would have never had the opportunity to do XYZ if I hadn't ABC first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when we
And I
start looking
was
at
ABCing.
the world like that, we start to change things. And then God
Yeah.
has the opportunity then to say, okay, she sees it now, she gets it now. So let me send these people around her that says, I know they were bad, but just so you know, it's some good ones out here too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That is
Yeah.
rewriting the narrative. That is cleaning the slate. That is the water into wine. That's the
That's
miracle.
the restoration, restoring
Yes,
what the canker worm
yes,
destroyed. And
yes,
yeah. Yeah.
yes. That is it. That is the resurrection of the things that have died in us. That is
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But you have to be able to see and feel it. And I
You
think
have to you have to be willing. This all
you
goes
have to
back to
be
the
willing.
will of a
Yeah.
person. The willingness to accept the fact that
Yeah.
if you believe all of these beautiful things about God and yourself and this, that, and the third, that you got to be able to see that in the rest of the world. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Also, you got to be able to find it. You got
And
to
that's
let
exactly.
God exist. You got to be able to allow God to exist everywhere. And when
Yeah.
you choose to allow God to exist, even in the darkest things, it will light that up.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's a word. Listen, that this is our season finale episode. The we're going off season during like, yeah, a pivotal time in the world.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a good message, right? To be able to see God and accept how God moves in everything,
Yeah.
even within the darkness, even when
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it. And I think the scriptures that have popped up for me is the love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. And that's in two places, in the Old Testament and in the New Testament.
And part of that
And
is not leaning to your own understanding.
right.
That trust
And it's
and
being
all of
able
that.
to right. And it's thinking above what is happening now, because on the ground is a mess, right?
Yeah.
Like we're going into midterm elections,
Yeah.
it's flock cameras in
Yeah.
military state, we're under,
Yeah.
we are in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And it's yet to be seen whether this we can turn this around. But I always think to myself, it just doesn't look like what it did before.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look like a civil rights movement or a revolution or marching in the streets, but I still believe that God is bigger than everything that's happening right
Yeah.
now and all the evil that's happening, especially in our country. I believe that God is bigger, and I have to hold fast to that belief. And that's the thing that, we want to send everyone off with is like, in the meantime, this is the season finale, this is the conclusion of the whole matter. Ecclesiastes 12:13 and 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. And my dad used to always say this, so it popped in my head for this episode. He used to always say this when he wrapped up his sermons. So let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So we don't have to worry about what's happening in our country right now, in the world right now, all of the turmoil, as long as we hold fast to fearing God and keeping his commandments. And the other scripture that keeps coming up is just the sum of what the commandments are. Love your neighbor as you love yourself.
And learn to love yourself so you can love your neighbor as you love yours.
That's the
Because
unspoken
because
part.
because God, I'm about to say, because God didn't mean for you to love your neighbor the way you lack in loving yourself. The
Right.
implication is that you
Right.
love yourself well, and so you love your neighbor like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
When I think of
that's a whole
that,
that's the next season, I guess.
that's a
I guess that's the
satanic
next season.
loophole. That is a very intense loophole that Satan has found and exploited to hell. Because just the idea that it's very simple, like love your neighbor as you love yourself. Who would have thought that everything in society and how we run things is about hating ourselves. Everything
Yeah,
is telling you to hate yourself.
yeah,
You are not thin enough. You're
yeah,
not funny enough. You're
yeah,
not pretty enough. You're
yeah,
not. And even like the AI renderings of people, where it's like, okay, this is a version of me that I like better than me, and like the surgeries, like all of the stuff that we do to try to make ourselves better. And the whole thing is like, no, you get to like love yourself as is.
yeah.
We've gotten away from even
Whole,
that.
whole as is.
Yes. Yes. And I'm just like, and that's been an interesting journey. Yeah, going through perimenopause and just like, you know what? Some stuff just ain't changing. So
Yeah, yeah,
we gonna love it where it's at.
yeah. We're gonna
But
love it the
yeah,
way it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because God loves us the way we are.
yeah.
And it's literally like a blueprint for how we're supposed to love ourselves and how we're supposed to love other people. But yeah, that's nasty work, nasty satanic work to find out oh, you want them to love neighbors as they love themselves. What if I mess with how they love themselves?
That's it.
Then the
That
whole thing
that is it.
collapses.
Yeah, that's it, right? We basically love people through the hate of ourselves.
Yep, yep. Even like the people we admire, the parasocial relationships, usually it's because we feel like they have something that we lack. So we're loving them out of the insecurities that we have,
Yep.
because we feel like we can admire that in them. And it's just like, no, like the whole rating system. Oh, she's a 10. I score off every chart. Don't ask me to rate myself. I am
100%.
1 billion.
Yeah. 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 I'm one of one. One of one.
It don't get no better.
Yeah. Beautifully and wonderfully made. Like every hair,
Exactly.
every mole, every everything, every thought from conception, one of one.
Period.
One of one.
God be writing love letters. I'm telling you.
Yeah, one of one.
God, and that's the importance, and that's one of the things I want to do is get deeper into my Bible and get more consistent with reading my Bible because it just feels good. It's like a love letter to humanity, right? And I feel like
And we are writing the next chapter. So what do we do? What is in the catalog?
yeah,
Because in the next stage of this world where we don't exist, and maybe that book doesn't either. A book will.
yeah,
What will be in it? What will they say? How will we have contributed? You know what I
yeah,
mean? As creators. That's why we got to get our lives together. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's why we got to
yeah.
get our
It's
lives
high.
together. It's
It's
not
high
even
time.
just for what we get out of the deal in the immediate. It's because of the world that is still set to be shaped
Yeah,
far past our existence. We
yeah,
have to do it today. We have to do it today for that. They did it then for us. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We have to be the ancestors that people talk about when they say we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. We have to
yeah,
be the ancestors while we are alive to be
yeah.
the ancestors while we are gone. You know what I mean? We have to do it. So we
And
got to live right and live well and
and
choose
love
righteousness.
radically.
Love radically and choose righteousness.
Yeah. And I think that that is going to be the hardest part of the community that we're trying to build while, the government's trying to kill us.
Yeah.
Right?
So, well,
Try
here's
not to
the
be
thing.
controversial, but
Yeah, well, here's the thing. If they're trying to kill us, they're gonna kill some of us.
oh yeah.
I mean, but what do we do in the meantime? Do we lay
Yeah.
down? Do we lay down and wait? Do we
Yeah.
do we do we take care of it for them
Yeah.
so that they don't do it to us? You know what I mean? No. We live fully, create, love radically, like you said, choose
Yeah.
righteousness. Do it
It's
right.
just unfortunately
Every
the
day we got it to do and
everything we
band
have it to
together.
do. And that's the thing. I think that the machine of arts and entertainment that has been infiltrated by capitalism has ruined even or has potentially ruined the grassroots effort of arts and humanity
Yeah.
because now we have these hierarchies and we play these games on social media and we do the gatekeeping and all of this stuff and it's like hey, this ain't even supposed
So
to be
gross.
that.
Yeah, no. So
This
gross.
ain't, we're supposed to be the pioneers. Shout out
Yeah.
to pioneer. We're supposed to be the pioneers of telling the story and cultivating the love and keeping the
Yeah.
love alive. And that alone is a revolution in and of itself. But I'm like, I don't. I'm praying that we get that together.
Yeah. And
I'm
that and
praying that.
going back to what we were talking about art that gives back. That is part of why like I don't want to give the funds we raise to some large organization that's already getting funds pumped into it left and right from
Yeah.
here and there and everywhere. You know what I mean? I want to see where it's going to go. I wanted to go to an organization that it part of it goes to an organization and some of it goes to a person specific. There are people out here who have doctors
Oh,
bills
I
that
know
they
someone who
can't
has
even
brain
pay.
cancer, a writer. If you're looking for mutual
Yeah,
aid situations.
that's big. Yeah, I want to find people to connect with because some people don't have transportation to get to their chemo. Some
And that's
people don't
exactly why she
have.
started her GoFundMe. Is just like anything you can do to get me there, to
Right.
get my
So that
wellness.
that
Yeah.
is what this is supposed to be like. That the $8,000 that we are trying to raise is designed to help people who are impacted directly, not go
Yes.
through all of the chains and the loopholes before it trickles down to so and so and such that we don't know shit about. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This is supposed to go to someone who may not, they may not be covering their doctor's bills, or, they might need to
Yeah.
get some groceries, or they might need to get they might have a medicine that costs a couple $100 that they just don't know how they're
Yeah.
going to get it. Like
Yeah.
that's where I wanted to go. I want to have an immediate impact. I wanted to give back specifically into something that that person experiences it and feels it, and that fuels their wellness in the
Yeah.
journey. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to dump it back into a corporation that's not even going to know we've dropped a piece into the bucket. I
That's
want that.
going
I
to,
want,
it's going to, yeah, be dollars for their employees
yeah,
in the pot
yeah, all
for
that.
cancer
Exactly.
research that,
Exactly.
yeah,
I wanted to be like Alabaster Box, even if
yeah,
this is the last of it, even if it's just this little, it has
yeah,
to mean so much because we gave all of what we had
yeah.
and into whatever someone else has going on. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so important
Look
that
at
we do
God.
that.
That was going to be the topic today.
What?
Alabaster box.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
It was. It was. That's one of the things you said to me that was always like really meaningful because I always feel guilty about being that friend. Like I'm not giving enough.
Oh, come
And
on.
you're just like, it's okay. I know that when you come around, when you give, that it's coming from a place of this is what you have. And I was just
Yeah,
like, but
that's it. That's it.
yeah. No, I think that that is really, and I think that's where the nihilism comes in, is that people are overwhelmed, so giving nothing and doing nothing, and we are in alabaster box times. You give what you can, and that has the deepest impact because it's what you can.
Yeah.
It is the best of what you can give, and that's enough.
Yeah. Even because then we allow God to do God's best work.
Yeah,
We give and let God do the multiplying. We so focused on being the multipliers. We're so focused on like doubling it down and flipping it and all of that, scamming. We're so focused on all that, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That we could literally just give our little bit and let God
yeah.
be the multiplier. We could
We're
literally,
the
we could,
vessels.
we could literally bring our 2 fish and 5 loaves.
Yeah, or the other thing I was thinking of is because the alabaster box thing, I was going to talk about the Elisha when the widow, the poor widow came to Elisha and she was like, I'm about to be sold into slavery with my
Mhm.
sons. And
Mhm.
he told her, gather up, just find empty containers, gather up
Yeah.
as many empty containers as you
Yeah.
can. And
Pour,
God
pour, 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 pour.
multiplied the oil. She was able to sell the oil and get herself out of debt. All she needed was the vessels.
That's it.
Period,
Show
God.
up. Show up. Show up. Be available. Be present. I will do the
Yeah,
rest. Be
yeah,
available. Be present. I will do the will to be in alignment with me. I will do the rest.
yeah. Oh,
That's
that's so
it.
good. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
In
That
conclusion,
has been the theme of this
underground,
podcast.
underground, overground, under attack, overstimulated, whatever it is, be in alignment, be willing, let God do the rest.
Yeah,
It's far past what we can conceptualize.
yeah.
That's part of the problem. Part of the problem is we know too much and
We
that we
think we
want
know
to,
too much. Yeah.
you know what I mean? And don't realize how little we know at all. And we want to make our decisions based off the little we know that we have decided was a lot, when there's so much in the experience that is still left to be told that we don't know anything about, but we don't need to sit in the anxiety of that. We need to
No.
sit in the trust and confidence that the person that brought us here will take us through it, The person that gave us the purpose will see it through. You know what I mean? The person that put the love in our heart will allow it to overflow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is our job. Our job is that the issue is that we get so stuck in trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
We just got to be present and willing. Let God
We
do
got
the
to
rest.
Exodus 14:14.
Just gotta let God be the multiplier.
Yeah. Yeah. That gives me such peace as a controlling person.
Yeah. And trust me, I'm one too. You know what I mean? I want to know how it's all
Yeah.
going. You know what I mean? But at the moment that I realize that I can't know how it's all going, at that point I just gotta trust that it's gonna work itself out.
Yeah.
I may have
And
taken
move
a
in
wrong
that faith.
turn. I may have taken a wrong turn, along the way of me trying to figure it out. I may have done some things to mess it up. God can
Yeah.
even do something with that
Yeah.
at the end of the
That's
day.
real.
Yeah.
No, that's so real. Listen, this episode was good to me. I'm very happy with this podcast. I feel like yeah, it's one of those things where the execution didn't go as I thought it would, and I had so much going on this year, and we missed the last, well, we didn't miss anything, but there was supposed to be another episode, but I feel like it's right on time. I feel like the spirit is good. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a new season, whatever that looks like,
Yeah.
when we
Me too.
ramp things back up, I guess February, March next year, and see how that looks. But yeah, we're going into a season of the unknown, but the conclusion of the whole matter: fear God, keep his
Yeah.
commandments, love on your people,
Yeah.
and you can love on your people best when you are loving on yourself.
That's right.
So,
With all the unknown, there are things that we do know,
yeah,
and we got to lean into that.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, awesome. This has been episode.
Yeah. One of them, the last one of the season. Y'all been counting.
I will remember when I posted. I'll see all of a sudden. Maybe 9 or 10. I don't know.
If all y'all got
But
to do is keep up with the number of episodes, y'all have an easy job.
right, y'all can do something. Yeah, the onus is on
Yeah, like
y'all.
it's a
We
community.
doing we doing all the work.
Yeah, like come on. Nah,
So
it's been
yeah,
good. It's been good. Good season. Great season. It's been a great season. I'm honored that, you brought me along and allowed me to participate in this. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. So
so glad. Yeah, we'll ramp things up, and this is not the last of us because I gotta have you on the Healing Girl privilege page,
yeah, I
talking
shall
it
be there.
up. So.
Shall be there.
Yeah, and then I gotta see about this 5K. I don't wanna raise money, I just wanna walk. Maybe I'll donate money and walk.
I just
When
want to walk.
is it?
It's on so Poets Giving is on November the 21st and
Okay.
the 5K is on November the 22nd.
Oh, the 5K is after Poets
Yep.
Giving.
That next
Okay,
morning.
so that's time to fundraise.
Yep.
Hmm.
Next morning. Yep. Yep.
We love a walkie.
Yeah. We love
Where
that.
is the
We love
walk?
that. So it's going to be in Virginia. And that's
Oh, I
because
forgot you're a Virginia girl. Boo.
well, I wanted to make sure that people understood that this was a DMV initiative. It wasn't just a
Okay.
Maryland initiative. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
so I have two parts that's happening in the Maryland. It's
Hmm.
kind of hard to do things in DC sometimes. It just isn't conducive to like parking and
Yeah.
I'm talking about large crowds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's why I kind of stayed away from DC. But two elements that happen in Maryland, and then the 5K is going to happen in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah. Just for
Okay.
the people that can't necessarily get out to Maryland, you know what I mean? They got something
Yeah.
that they feel like they can get to and experience without feeling like they've been shut out.
Yeah.
So,
It's just a slow takeover of the Northeast region, and then
yeah,
you
you know
expand.
what I'm saying? You
We
know what I
just
mean? Then we, outside, across, up and down, across the water,
right,
if they ever
right.
open it back up, you know what I'm saying? Who knows?
We surviving, hanging
We
in the
are.
child line. Good
Hey, but here we are.
times.
But here we are though. You know what I mean?
Here we
Here
are.
we are.
Yeah. Well,
We
looking forward to it.
at the least right now we have water, we have electricity.
Oh,
You know
I
what I'm
know.
saying? There's so many things for us to be grateful in the midst of all that is going wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we may be without water, and we may be without electricity. It may
Every
be
time I take a
our
hot
time.
shower, I'm like, this is a
Yeah,
privilege.
yeah.
And
This is
remember this
yeah,
moment when you sat under this cascade of hot
yeah,
water because it may not always be there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we
Yeah.
gotta be that. That's a part of being present. That is the
Yeah.
gratitude. You know
Yeah.
that is
Gratitude is
where
the cheat code.
yeah, and that's and it's rooted in presence,
Yeah.
being present in the moment. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So that's it. You know, with all that's bad, there's plenty that's good. And
Yeah.
that's where I choose it. Whatsoever things are pure, noble, right, just, loving. It's my job to think on those things. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So
Yeah.
so that I can be what I think. It's my job.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, no more gems. We got to end the
Yeah.
episode.
Save it for next season.
This is our special 5 hour episode.
This the marathon episode where we ain't sleep. We just went through the whole thing and went to work. That's
Oh,
crazy.
that's a
We
good
might
idea
try
you
that.
could do. You could, I
Yeah,
was like, you
we
could
can
do that.
try
That's
that.
another fundraising
Hey,
idea.
hey, what's the old boy that the dude that talked for 24 hours or some shit where he was no in the one of them Congress people, one of them
Oh, was it
councilmen.
Cory Booker?
I think so. One of them Jones that was talking forever and ever and ever
Yeah.
and ever
The
and ever.
filibuster. This is
All that.
more like a what are those dial-a-thons or
Yeah, but
call-a-thons
yeah,
that they
we just
used to
sit and
do?
just talk all yeah,
Yeah.
talk all night. You know what I'm saying? And just
You should set that up.
maybe we see. I don't know. I got a meeting in 2 weeks with Eric and Ebony. I see what they think about it. Just have a whole bunch of people popping in and just
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
a
And if
live
you
that
stream
goes as
on
long as we go.
YouTube, you can have them send super chats, or you could just have like a ticker
Yeah.
with your Cash App on it and have them
Uh-huh.
send. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
figure
I think
something
that
like
would be
that out.
cool.
Dope. Yeah.
Yeah. Look
We
at us.
on to
Okay.
something.
Okay. Now we gotta go.
All right.
This
Okay.
is
All
turning
right.
into
All
a
right.
business meeting brainstorm. This has been the season finale
They
of
get to see who
Everybody
we
Can Go
are.
podcast.
They get to see who we are.
We'll see you next season and make sure you tap into our other episodes. We've had a lot of dope special guests on this season, and also we've gotten to chop it off ourselves. And it's just been gems every season, and it's all to the glory of God. And we are so grateful and thankful. Love on your people, build your community, and we'll see you next season. Peace.